Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on January 14th, 2026. And I'm joined by the fabulous Richie Rich Rosen. He might not be able to answer questions right away. He's busy making money, okay? And Alan Floor. I have no nickname for him. And here's Thommy Pistachio Alacio. We got a real crew. Now, the first question, it's a serious thing. It's from science. How about this? Recruiters should swear more to improve productivity. That might sound crazy, but apparently, according to science, swearing improves your strength through what they call state disinhibition. Once you start breaking rules, like the rules of etiquette, and you swear, it releases your energy, okay? You're not holding yourself back anymore. And here's what the evidence was. Participants in this test saw a 10% performance improvement by repeating a swear word, just one. It boosted self-confidence and psychological flow and reduced self-censorship and mental breaks, okay? I think that salesmen, recruiters, and saleswomen should then maybe swear before they get on that phone for a cold call. Just like, remember that guy said, when you get a good haircut from a barber who really cares about you, you feel invincible. Well, you don't have to get your hair cut. Would you guys agree that swearing makes you stronger? Tom swears like a sailor. Okay, so maybe it's lost its effectiveness with a guy like him. It's just, I don't think so. I think it's part of his power formula. Anybody else want to comment on that?
Fuck no.
No, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I swear with you guys that not when I'm working, like I'm talking to a candidate or client, and they start swearing, then I may take a tip from it. I don't start off with, "Hey, how's everything going, bro?"
Yeah, you gotta time it right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely drop an F-bomb, but I'm talking to sales guys.
Exactly.
They're all stressed.
Okay.
You can't just do it indiscriminately like a
So what I'm hearing
teenager.
from these guys is don't swear with your candidates or clients. Essentially, yeah. That's what they're telling me. Okay. Even if swearing makes you stronger. But you know what? That's a nice little tidbit of information to tell people. I'm cold calling you, Billy, but before I make my pitch, I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Do you think somebody would fall for that and have a chat with you? Is that a rapport builder?
One of my openings for one position I'm working on, start off, this is like something you've never seen before. And it absolutely hooks them in. And so that's why I say this is like something you've never seen before. This is not going to make you a better engineer. It's not going to make you a better designer. What this is going to do is make you a better businessman and understand how engineering and business work together. So if you want to hang a shingle one day and you can walk away from this company, or you can grow with this company as an executive vice president. But at the end of the day, you're going to learn how business and engineering work together.
Okay. So that's a unique way of saying a fantastic opportunity. Is that right?
Yeah, but a fantastic opportunity doesn't mean shit.
A unique opportunity.
When you say that, because people say that every opportunity is unique. But if you can explain that to an engineer who's been sitting behind a desk all day just doing design and he hates that, and then give him an opportunity that is unique and explain how it is unique in the first 15, 20 seconds of the call, you hook them in. And if they're not that type of person, they tell you immediately. It is the greatest pitch, because the ones that don't have the personality and want to be better engineers run like their hair is on fire. And the ones that hate being in the buildings love me.
Out of prison. I'm going to let you out of prison. That's what that sounds like to me, because you don't have to work for somebody. You can go work on your own. I'm going to let you out of prison. That sounds in irony. That sounds like Rich's famous line, "Tired of working for an asshole." Okay, that's a good one too. That's always sticks in my mind. Okay, Ernie, do you believe that swearing gives you extra power, extra strength? Is it a secret to confidence and productivity?
I like it. I enjoy it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, well, what did I say? Somebody said something, and I wanted to. Oh, it's all timing. This guy said, if Rich said everything is timing, didn't he say that? Am I misquoting him? Didn't he say everything is timing? What are you guys dead today? Can I get a yes or a no?
I mean, for what? Timing is important with everything.
This guy said, don't chase people. Sales is all about timing. So that's why I don't go after somebody 15 times. Okay. If they want to respond after 2 or 3 or 4 emails or calls, they would. Okay. He said, 4 emails tops. Message them a few times on LinkedIn or call a few times, and the last time leave a voicemail. So 3 or 4 attempts through a few different channels. That's his max. And the reason is, after that, you're just bugging them. If you're there on time, the timing is right, they're going to get back to you. If it isn't, you can leave 100 messages and you won't get a response. What do you think about that? We always talk about here, if you're trying to reach somebody that's important, you think this is a great candidate, you call till you die or they die. You never give up. This guy says that's crazy. Okay. Is nobody want to challenge that?
Yeah, I mean, that guy's a loser. I mean, it's just not even an argument.
There's a level of professionalism that you would expect after 2, 3, 4 times. They would at least get back to you and say, I'm happy, I'm good, thanks, bye.
But that's not how the world works.
Right.
The amount of calls you get back, they've done all these studies. Like it takes like 12 points of touch to get people. Hang on, I got to get this thing done. But it's it is not. And it all depends. Not everyone is worthy of chasing, but some are, and you got to be able to determine who that is, right? If it's the right person, the wrong person, etc. So. To chase just to chase is dumb. Like, you can't chase every candidate, but if someone's like a perfect 10, then yeah, you know what you're going to do. I'm going to call him in a minute. Shit.
Okay. Now I keep telling you guys David Perry's famous story that he called a guy 80 times and he finally got him driving on the Autobahn, and he in Germany, Dave's here in Canada, and he placed that guy. Okay. So would everybody agree that if you really ask somebody, call 80 times, not 4 times, like this guy says?
Yeah, I mean, I tell my favorite story, my tattoo parlor story. Right?
Oh, right, yeah. Tell it again.
What?
Tell it again.
So
deal with emotion this time.
Yeah, I'm doing a search.
I was doing a search today.
For a shredder. I was doing a search for a shredder manager, and there's about 260. Maybe 100 shredders in the entire United States as we stand here today, right? These are the big shredders that shred an entire bus, 4 cars at one time, right? So I need a shred manor in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. And there's not a lot of people, but I did stumble on one guy who had like a very marginal LinkedIn profile, no phone number, went to his Facebook, messaged him on Facebook, never responded back. But I started looking at his Facebook, and he's got a lot of tattoos, and he's a biker, right? And so I left a message at his favorite tattoo parlor. Like, he was just raving about this. So I left the message for him at the tattoo parlor. The tattoo parlor called him. He called me back, and I placed that guy for $28,000.
Why did he call you back?
Because I said, I have this great opportunity in your backyard for a shredder manager for a.
He wouldn't respond to you before that, right?
No, the only thing is I sent him. I did no way to get a hold of him other than a LinkedIn connection request.
The wrong story. And now that's a good sourcing story, but that's wrong. Wake up, okay?
What are you talking about, Animal? That's a good story. You saying what if he didn't do 100?
Story, but it's the wrong context. This is the matter of. No, let me finish. You're calling. We're talking about calling someone who's actually getting your messages. You've got his email. You've got her.
How do you know they're getting your messages? How do you know that? That was my point. I left him a message on Facebook, a message on LinkedIn, connection request, right? And then I did find one other phone number that just said, you've reached, it was 419 something. I said, hey, if this is so-and-so, give me a call. And then I found the tattoo parlor and number and left it there.
No.
So it wasn't like I would call 100 times, left 100 messages. But the idea was, did he get my messages? I'm not stopping until I hear from him, and I'm going to leave a message at every number.
Yeah.
And
your friend, Animal, I'll argue your friend was lazy and all he kept doing is calling the same fucking phone number.
The whole thing is, you can't take it personal if they don't take your call, mainly because you don't know what's going on in their world. And we've called people and someone said, oh yeah, my mom passed away and I couldn't get back to you. And you maybe called 4 or 5 times. Let's face it, it's not a priority for them to get my call. But, just things happen.
Okay, but let's make a business development call. Oh, sorry, Al, did you want to say something? No? Okay, you're making business development calls. The guy I'm talking about, he's not my friend. I don't even know who his name, okay? But he said sales is all about timing. You're either getting to them when they actually are in a buying position or you're not, okay? So what's the point of contacting them 20 times if you're not there? If they're in need, then they'll respond.
Okay, hold on. I'll answer. You guys help me here. So anyway, you're saying that if Ernie's in a buying mood, he's going to pick up, and if he's not going to. Okay, stop. What if Ernie has been very busy and just doesn't realize the opportunity until we get a chance to talk, and now Ernie's like, oh, maybe I am underappreciated. Maybe I am underpaid. Yeah, you know what? Duh. And you've uncovered the timing. It wasn't that Ernie had the timing. You just uncovered it.
Okay, so there's a sales opportunity, and it doesn't exist until you actually break through to get to the person. Okay, the person might not get, but what about on the business development end? That was the candidate side. Okay,
Right.
You can make someone say, hey, you know what? See, the grass is greener on the other side, right? Okay, what about with business development? That's different. Am I right or wrong about that? Nobody.
You might be right. It's different.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second, Ernie. We know that your business development technique is actually finding people who are looking. Okay, you look at their ads and you call them 3 months later if they haven't filled it to say you're checking to see, right? Okay.
And I guess what I would say to that too is if I have a rock star candidate that I know that I know this company fucking needs, I may spend a lot more time calling them than I would just doing basic business development, right? So if like the shredder manager guy, for example, like if he called me tomorrow and say, hey, I want to make a job change. I need you to help me find a job. I wanted to be undercover. I am going to call and I will do everything in my power to every single company that has a shredder knows he's available. And I will do that until I die or I get him a job.
Okay. So you're assuming that you'll do a most placeable, an MPC marketing, most placeable candidate marketing, okay? And but you're assuming that already that they need that kind of guy, okay? You're assuming that they need him.
But why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't I assume
so
that?
rare, they'd always hire one.
Okay, so in that special instance, okay? But if you're doing business development, you're just marketing a good candidate, you're not going to call that one company 50 times, are
not
you?
If I'm just marketing a generic MPC or doing some opening. No, I'm not. Unless I want to work with. Again, I guess the other thing would be unless I really want to work with the company.
Would that be a bad way to start a relationship or a good one by calling 50 times until he gets back to you or she gets?
There's a fine line between distance and being a pain in the ass. You just have to be careful you don't cross it.
Not everybody calls 50 times. I'm trying to find out how many times is it good to call for business development. Not one answer from these superstars.
50 times not 50 times to one person.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I got it. Okay. What about this for an interview icebreaker? You ask a question, what's the funniest thing that happened to you today? Is it stupid or is it going to loosen things up?
It depends. If you're talking to a person,
who's asking the question?
Who's
the candidate? The candidate comes in, and you ask. That's the first question. Hey, tell me before we get going, what's the funniest thing that happened to you today?
Is this the first cold outreach contact you had with them?
You're going to do a screening. You're doing a screening call.
You know so you kind of know the person already.
Well, you don't know him or her, but you've
invited them you've invited them for a half an hour, and they're
it's an
maybe it's depending on the person, maybe, but you want to be respectful and you want to have your reputation high. You don't want to denigrate your reputation.
Okay, but there's no lighthearted icebreakers that can loosen.
Sure,
there
is. Sure, there is. In construction, it's okay. So. Thommy, you're a project manager. Dude, how are your subcontractors treating you this week? Have you killed any of them yet?
Okay, have you killed anything? That's his funny line.
Did you see his smile? He knows. Now, if you're talking about the shredder guy, hey, Johnny, how's it going? Anybody fall into the shredder this morning?
You may,
And who had to clean it up?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like an opener to me.
Except when
It
they
sounds
say
like a great
yes,
opener for a shredder guy.
but they're gonna say yes. Somebody died today.
Yeah.
Okay, Animal. True story. I was dealing with JPL. I'm dealing with Ernie. He's like the head top tech guy that's not a chief, and we have breakfast the next day scheduled. He calls me the day before at 5:30 at night and says, "Hey, Alan, I'm looking to get out of here. I'm not doing it now, but I just emailed you. Give me your personal email and email you my resume and this. I want to talk about this first thing in the morning and da-da-da." Great. Then he blows me off for coffee. It took me a week until I reached somebody at JPL who said, "Oh yeah, Ernie, he died Thursday late afternoon." He died within 2 hours of me talking with him. So yeah, I've had that happen.
You reminded me. I had one happen where I'm talking to this guy on, say, Friday, or no, let's go Wednesday. And I say, "Hey, you got anything you want me to work on?" He goes, "Nah, we're fine. Okay, great." On Friday, I get a call from his boss and says, "I need a new guy."
Yeah.
I said, "What happened?" He goes, He died yesterday."
No,
I go, "Oh shit."
I had a mentor with the same thing, Ernie. He kept calling this company, trying to place like a controller or something similar. And then he saw online that the guy died in an accident that Saturday. So he called the next Monday, he calls the CFO and says, "I know you need a controller because I know yours died in a car wreck on Friday." And he played.
It's all about the approach, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I read that Warren Beatty used to, when he was younger, read about divorces in the Hollywood papers or whatever, and he'd go after. He'd know that was a woman he could seduce. He'd pursue that woman. And so, is there any way that a recruiter could take advantage of obituaries?
I don't know. It's a long road to do.
Yeah, it's a very long
No. Well, that's
road.
what you're suggesting here.
That's stretching it.
Or I saw a show once, maybe I saw it on YouTube, I don't know, about this Oscar the cat. He lived at this old folks home or something like that, and he could sniff out when someone was going to die. And after a few days before they died, he would go and spend all his day with that person.
Oh
Okay?
man!
If we had someone like that, when you call. Well, that's what Ernie was telling her. Alan was saying, if you know the person that you're talking to is got on a short leash, Anyway, what about this one? Changing pace. What about inbound leads from a website? This guy asked, has anyone ever gotten any inbound leads from their website? I'm trying to determine if it's worth investing in having a designer spruce up my website. All my clients right now come from cold calls and referrals.
No,
Are
but
websites like
it's
dead?
not-
Are they out of style?
Sprucing up's not going to do dick, right? So you'd have to do a lot of SEO, and invest the time. So when someone Googles, like anybody here right now watching this, or anybody's go Google structural engineering headhunter Baltimore. Google structural engineering headhunter Chicago, structural engineering Dallas. The first non-sponsored result is all the same company because their SEO is fucking amazing.
Well, they might be paying
Nope,
Google.
they're not sponsored. If you look at the way they do it, they own all these different URLs and their SEO is amazing, right? So if you look at how they do it, it's called Davron, Davron, right? They have a lock on the SEO side of structural engineering headhunter, civil engineering headhunter, civil engineering recruiter, structural engineering recruiter on the internet. And they're not a sponsored result. There's a bunch of sponsored results that come first, then they come as the first quote unquote real result.
Rich, do you make any money from your website, inbound leads?
Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean,
hesitation. Oh yeah, that would be means no.
Now you can get a lead generator that comes to your website, right? So there's a free version, and then the next version is expensive. We have one, and it just shows who comes to your website, right? It gives their URL, their company, etc. I would start there to see what type of traffic you get. Then decide.
But Thommy, do you put any money into your website?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Exactly. Neither do I. So I don't put a penny into it. I mean,
I think if you did a lot of staffing, right, temp and contract, then yes, right, you should. A lot of applications, you should, right?
Tom, then why are you so enthusiastic about Devron's website?
Because they invested $1 zillion in that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, if they've got that much keyword association tied to their thing, I mean, they're probably putting 6 figures into their.
Yeah, and I'm not going to I'm not going to be able to knock any of it down, right? It's going to cost
but if you came second or third, as long as you're
for how
near
much?
the top.
Like Rich said, if I invest $100,000, my return on investment is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 placements maybe in a year if I get it. And would have gotten those searches anyway. Because really, what you're going to get is you're going to get more candidates than you are clients.
Exactly, and then you get flooded. You're dealing with candidates all day instead of talking to clients,
and lots of shitty candidates.
Yeah,
from all over the world, sending you resumes that need H-1B visa, 17 vowels, right? They can't work in the U.S., and then you have to deal with all that. So you have to be very strategic if you're going to market your website and decide who you're trying to attract, how you're going to attract it. I think it's better to invest like that into like an entry-specific website where your website pops up on the American Society of Civil Engineering's website, the American Structural Engineer Association, stuff like that. Maybe I might look into that. But I don't want me to pop up as the first thing you say as structural engineering headhunter. I can handle it. Even if 100 companies fucking called me, I would be overwhelmed. Right? You have to look at that strategically.
Moving on. Rich is now ranting. He's got a new topic he likes to rant about. Okay.
He charges more.
It's Larry Ellison. Okay. He says foolish CEOs believe. This is my paraphrase that. They have to be terrifying. They scream about quotas. They threaten people's jobs every Monday morning. They act like tyrants to drive performance. Larry Ellison is the model, but this is garbage, and it's going to ruin your business, okay? Am I right, Rich? That's what you're ranting about lately. Am I right?
You're right.
Okay. But how do you know that you're the CEO at the company, that your new client is not a Larry Ellison clone? How do you know? How can we know those things?
Well, if you know your space, which you should, which is everyone should be strong in their niche, you should have a good idea what that company's about.
What does that mean? What do you
mean?
Does anybody think that's a decent answer? That's a garbage answer, okay?
Tommy gets it. Alan gets it. Bernie gets it. It is.
He's saying you guys get it. Make Recruiting Animal look like an idiot. Okay, he's the only one who doesn't get it. Okay,
we don't make you look like an idiot.
Exactly. The mirror does that.
That was a good one. You set yourself up on that one.
Yeah, I did. But I think the people watching this, they're going to say, no. Richie Rich is bluffing here. He likes to rant, but when you ask him a question, how do you know that you're CEO? Oh, you hear it. Oh, give us an example of where.
Oh my God! Stop your ranting. Do you not talk to people in your industry all day long?
No. I want an example from you about a Larry Ellison clone.
Oh my God! Like you talked. Ellison's an easy one because you read the media, you read the news about the guy, Tom Siebel. I mean, they're maniacs to work for. But if you're working in a niche, you're talking to people all the time. Hey, what's going on at this company? Why you're looking? Why you're leaving? Hey, what's that company like? Oh, I heard the CEO's crazy. Why? What'd the CEO do? And then he tells you stories how he ripped someone a new one for having to go to the bathroom in company time or something.
So
whatever.
in other words, you have heard a rumor that the CEO Davey Wavy is a jerk. Okay, and you will not call. You'll use that as a source company. You will not call them and try to place somebody there. Is that what you're telling us?
That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Does anybody believe this story that he's just, he doesn't have the energy to really.
I told you, I sent that email to Snowflake because they had a guy that was a VP of sales that was a raving asshole. I told you this story a million times. I could have worked for Snowflake. I chose not to because I hated the VP at the time. And literally, I sent an email that just said the subject line was tired. Are you tired of working for an asshole?
See that?
The body was just.
It's proof he reverts to one story. Okay, just like
you just asked for one story
about the tattoo parlor. He's got this one story.
Oh my God.
And
I'm going to start calling you Claudia. You sound like my wife.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you've got a smart. Maybe your wife. You've got a smart woman there for your wife. Okay. She doesn't put up with your BS.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's not very smart. She's married to him.
Yeah,
Ah,
exactly.
Okay. No, I think
Yeah,
she's struck
what-
it.
my
But she's
wife
got her
thinking.
own career. She doesn't live off of Rich.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Rich says there's two important timelines for recruiters. Okay. Number one, you have to get interview feedback within 24 hours. Right? Is that one?
Right.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
The other one is the client should make an offer within 7 days of the final interview. Right?
Right.
Is everybody on board with this? Okay. And tell the client in writing that these are your recruiting process goals. Okay. Treat time like money because it is. Put it in the contract. Okay. Anybody that you actually put that into your fee agreement? This is what's important to me. I want you to know that this is going to be how we work together. Does anybody agree on putting that into your fee agreement, your contract?
But who cares? They're not going to follow it.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. Who cares? You want your agreement as slim as possible.
So don't put it in writing.
No.
Say, Billy,
Okay, they don't do it. What's going to happen if they don't do it?
Yeah. What is the recourse? I'm going to sue them because I didn't do it.
Yeah, and worst case, I mean, for Rich's agreement, the only thing, or anybody else's, all you're really doing is using it to, okay, now the warranty's void.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
Available.
look,
What,
if
you
these two process goals or elements are important and you're not putting it in writing, how do you tell them? Do you tell them right in the intake session, this is how I work, this is important to me? How do you get them to know those things? Do you tell them this is how I'm working?
Yeah, when you're going through the interview process, this is what we need to do to make this a successful engagement.
And what do they say? Nod their heads?
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to say? No.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you make a business.
You're not making
decision.
the decisions for me on how I feel. Okay, if it takes me 48 hours, I might be busy. You don't tell me 24 hours.
Listen, if it takes 48 hours, then they probably don't want the guy. It's not a priority. Very simple.
And then that's how
what
you
happens then?
prioritize your search.
Well, then you decide which one. I told you this last week. I told the client, you can't call me after 2:00 anymore. And he's like, why not? I'm like, well, because clearly this search is not a priority for you. So what am I wasting my time for? I shouldn't be the last call of the day.
Okay.
So he said, okay. And then he called me back 2 days later and gave me another retainer.
Okay.
What time did he call you? 2:00.
It was 6:00 on New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So, but it was always the last call of the day. Just like when candidates can't call you during the day, assuming you're not locked in a room, they're generally not the biggest priority for them.
Okay.
Same thing with clients. You shouldn't be your client's last call of the day every time.
Okay. Okay. And you tell them that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about this? This is kind of unique. I think it's kind of absurd, but this person says, when you're doing business development, send your prospect a book related to their stated online interests. It's a very good marketing ploy. Send them a book before you speak to them.
Why?
Anybody?
No.
Why not?
So again, this is one of those that is not black and white. So I know a recruiter who has his list of 50 companies he wants to work with. Like it was his plan. I can't remember exactly what the title is, but it's like your 50 dream companies or whatever. And he actually he did a really, really deep research on the 50 CEOs or whatever. And he bought 5, started with his first 5 and he bought 5 books. He found a page in the book, put a little thing in there and emailed them the book with a message and then called him and he got a retained search on 1 out of 5 for the first set. So yes, can you do something with that? Absolutely. But it's not just fucking willy-nilly. I'm going to go out and buy 100 Selling DeVito books and send it to all the hiring managers. You got to do the fucking research and then really, really do the follow-up, the campaign of how you're going to do it, why you send them the book, why the page that you chose was the one you chose. In this particular situation with this person that he sent the book to, this guy saw this guy at a convention where he spoke. So it even resonated with the guy even more. Like that's an example how you could do that. But I'm just not going to send a bunch of books that I think is awesome to a bunch of hiring managers.
No. I said if you listened, it was the guy. You do some research, and the person has online stated their interest. Maybe it's in snowboarding or something like that, or whatever. Okay, and I'm not saying buy a bunch of books that are currently popular on Oprah or something like that.
You can accomplish the same thing by just, if you know what the guy's into, find some cool article online and to get this.
No, you give me that. I'm giving you all my business.
Thank God that David and Marr showed up to put some life into the show. These guys they're just so sluggish. I don't know how to get them interested. No matter what I say, it's a ho hum is what I'm getting from these people. I guess I have to talk about ATSs. That's the only thing that seems to get their attention. ATS.
And then you realize David has his microphone off, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I was joking. Okay. He doesn't even show his face. Okay, and he's always low key no matter what. Okay.
Next question.
What about this? Okay. If you're not screen recording your sales calls and feeding them into Claude, asking what objections did I miss and how do I handle them next time, you're not going to make it. I did this for 2 weeks straight and my close rate tripled. Okay. Your business development calls, you record them and you feed them into Claude, or I assume ChatGPT or any other popular AI tool, and ask it, what am I doing wrong specifically? Does anyone think that's a great idea?
I mean, that could work for some people, right? They're huge fucking files, though, man. Like, I find it hard to believe that he is downloading 50 voice files or even converting them to text, and that's a huge amount of text.
Yeah, but so what? I mean,
it'll be interesting to see how he does it.
Hold on. Don't you guys? People feed whole books into these tools and ask for a summary. Isn't that what they're famous for?
Entire books. I don't know. Has anybody here done? I've never done an entire book. I've done a YouTube video, right? I've done a 25-minute conversation that I converted to text. But 50 10-minute conversations, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a lot.
Well, yeah, AI is like your recruiting coach there. You tape your call, you go to Rich's class and say, hey, Rich, I'm going to play this call to you. What did I do wrong? Can't AI take that function over?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Finkel speak a few times, and one of his favorite things to do is tape all of your calls so you can listen to them after and figure out what you're doing wrong. Okay, if you listen by yourself, you're just an idiot. You really can't necessarily analyze your stuff. If you're giving it to Claude or the World Brain, okay, that you can fit a whole bunch of a whole bunch of books into that in advance.
Okay.
Oh, the guy can't even keep his mouth.
That's a really good. No, that's a good. I said you made a fucking good point, bro. What else do you want me to say? You made a great point.
Rub his tummy.
Right.
Come on, you got to rub his tummy.
What about this? This guy said it's a 2-word advice for people who are doing business development. Okay, conviction closes. If you've got a lot of belief in your ability and effectiveness as a recruiter, is that going to be maybe your number one selling point when you get on the phone with someone? They can see that you're living and breathing your belief in your own ability.
That's something you say beforehand, and then you relay it. But what you're trying to say is, do I go and tell you I'm a great recruiter and I'm this and that?
You're marketing yourself. You do have to tell them. You do have to tell them. Am I wrong?
Like Rich hired Trish to tell everybody he's great.
I got an email from Trish this week telling me how great Rich is. And I'll do my ads now, okay? There was a whole, all about Rich, how fantastic Rich is. And you know why Trish, everybody, is marketing Rich? Because she offers a class with Richie Rich every Thursday morning. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday, 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time. And when's the price going up to $300 a month? Today?
The 15th. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay? You can still get $200 a month, okay? there's a bulk price for
Secret.
buying for 6 months, and you
Yeah.
go in there online with a small group of recruiters who's sworn to secrecy. Everything's confidential, just like an AA meeting, I guess. And you and you ask Rich questions and say, and he'll answer every question. He's not like he is on the show today. Okay, something's wrong with these people. Maybe it's the weather in the United States. I don't know. Okay, but he's lively and he gives you an answer, and he's got Trish there to disagree with him. Okay, he always says I'm like his wife. Okay, but he likes that. He drags in this other woman with him to disagree and henpeck him right there in front of the group.
No, you
He's
don't.
not
You
ashamed.
don't listen. She listens. You don't listen.
Oh yeah, she listens. That's why she comes back and disagrees with him again the next week. Okay. And he says, I love it. He says, it shows that there's two different ways to get where you're going. Okay. You don't have to do things my way. You can do things Trisha's way as well. And maybe even a third way. Okay. But anyway, if you want to talk to Rich about the show, Rich at cornerstonesearch.com, or go to Moore Essentials. Or just go under this show if it hasn't put you to sleep. And I've got the links to everybody's shows there. Speaking of which, Thommy Pistachio Elashio, he's got two fabulous shows, okay? And the main one, though, is Fridays, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A bunch of people, more people than this, come on. And the way I market his show is, I like the show to be kind of light and fast, okay? He gets into the weeds, the technical weeds. So the recruiters who want to know all about how tools work, he tells you, okay? He tells you that. And the recruiterroundtable.com gives you the links to all the shows. He's got another show on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, Ask the Headhunter. And you've got a demo there from some popular product coming up.
I just did a demo. I just dropped it on your channel too. LinkedIn Sales Navigator, sourcing strategies. Last week was Whisper Flow Command Mode, which is friggin' awesome.
Okay. So if you want a recruiter who likes to swear, okay, to tell you how to do things, and he's not boring, you can't tell today, okay, but usually you can see on this show that he's not a boring guy.
Well, if you had good topics, I wouldn't have been boring.
Don't tell me that. I got good topics. You guys are just dead. I don't know what happened.
Are you kidding me?
You, okay?
Let's see. Should I cuss more? Should I call till I die, but that guy says not to? And should I invest SEO in my website? Those are great topics.
They're fantastic. What's wrong with them? They're terrific. And they've been beat to death.
Rich comes on this show to get ideas for his show.
Exactly.
No. His class is run by the ground up. The students come and they pick the topics. Oh, am I right about that, Rich?
100% right. They direct the show.
Right. I'm right. Okay, everybody. Sometimes it happens. Okay. Well, what was an exciting topic that you guys discussed last week on the recruiterroundtable.com? Can you tell me one thing?
Last week?
Dead silence.
No. Give me a second. Last week was an open discussion. So last week we went heavy in AI tools for productivity and transcriptions and what tools to use for that. We also went over social media content strategy, sales and relationship building, like recording transcripts to help understand complex technical issues. We also went over Cluely, Whisperflow, GoPerfect, Opus Pro, ChatGPT, Claude, and talked about the next session.
Doesn't this sound like something when you're
and then
reading?
Not only that, after the show's over, then we have our after hour conversation.
Okay, then you got your rich
learn something.
Okay, after the show's an hour, then they cut off the camera.
When do
and
you guys
if you've got
work?
Something you really want to
When
cry
do you
about.
guys work taking all that time?
I don't work on Fridays,
Oh,
man.
jeez.
That's when Alan starts asking questions when he's off camera.
Yeah, I
Yes.
bet you. I believe that. Okay, I believe that.
That's when really people share what they're really doing and showing you, and that's really where you should
Okay, but
hang out.
Okay,
Just hang out a little
okay,
more.
there you go. He's endorsing. Don't hang out on this show. Okay, hang out over there. Look, I got to tell you something. You don't have to worry about other people hanging out on this show. But Rich, before we go, what was the most exciting discussion you had in your class last week? You don't have to give us the answers, just a question.
What was last week?
Ah, don't. Oh,
So many exciting things.
Can I drop as low as Rich is in the screen?
I know.
Yeah.
I keep shrinking. Is this
I think
Last week,
Rich discussed
I don't
first.
think I can come up with anything from last week. Are you kidding?
I'm fighting a cold here, so
Okay, that's
I'm
his
shrinking
excuse.
here. I don't know. I mean, the conversations are always around. They always vary, but
No,
it's.
I just want to remind everybody, Rich has a cold, okay? But if his candidate called and canceled the interview, wanted to reschedule,
I'm not even getting paid. I'm not even getting paid. I still came here.
Hey, Rich, let me ask you one question. In doing this show, you've done how many now?
For what? The animal
Your show, your training.
Oh,
How many have you done?
It's not a show.
I think we're going
it's
on
not
a year or
recorded,
two.
okay?
I forget.
Okay. In that time, and people coming on board and asking questions, what have you learned about other recruiters?
Nothing good.
No, I mean the vast majority don't want to put the effort in.
What does that mean, Rich?
They want you to give them the answer.
Is that exactly what Ernie was talking about before? You can tell them everything and they don't do it?
Yeah, 100%.
Give us one example.
If you say, do your research at night so you can call during the day, 90% of the people aren't going to change their ways. They're not going to start doing research at night.
They've got families, okay?
Who cares? I have a family. I never missed anything. I coach my kids soccer and baseball.
You fight with your wife, okay?
Everyone fights with their wife. I mean, it's...
Actually, no. His wife sits with him while he's doing because he's got ADD. Yeah. He can do his work and watch TV at the same time, and so she watches TV. That's how you got to get the right partner. Okay, there's the answer.
Absolutely true. You definitely do.
Answer to that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's interesting. You say that though. I mean, I find that because I do really believe that you got to have a passion for this thing. You got to really love it.
You got to have a passion for everything you do. I mean, sales is too hard.
Yeah.
Like working for bad clients, the quickest way to burn yourself out. Doing a job you just like. This job is so much effort and so much work that no one realizes how much you have to put into it. You make it look easy when your guy gets the job, but they don't see the 400 other people you may have called. And the research took to find those people. So, working for bad clients, man, that will kill you. Don't give a shit. That will kill you.
Okay, Rich, do you tell your? Oh, sorry, Ernie, go ahead. You go.
No, and it's really funny how people don't want to sell.
Yeah,
they don't look at that as a sales position, and then they go, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's so funny. As much as it is selling, it's literally just telling people the truth in a way that makes it sound like it's not horrible. I mean, you don't have to lie to anyone in this business. I mean. I literally asked the guy this morning. I'm like, listen, he's like, what else is this company going to provide? I'm like, nothing. Assume they're going to give you nothing. You're going to get you're going to get the Salesforce tools. You get the phone number finders. You get a phone and training. It's a startup. I mean, I'm not going to sell you on it. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because either you have the balls to do it or you don't. And, he's like, well, I can do it. I'm like, I'm sure you can. You let the guy sell himself into the whole thing, but there was zero selling of it because I don't want people going to a startup thinking they're going to be handed anything. I'm like, you have to assume you're going to get absolutely nothing. And if you're interested, great. Let's talk further.
People want to do it with no risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
the company's it's the hiring managers and the candidates. None of them wants any risk. And I'm like, well, then you're in the wrong industries, guys.
Can I ask a question? Is that your classic pitch? I'm shocked. Usually, you say, "I got a great position." I know that's what you say. You don't say, "Well, from this. If you want to go, fine." I don't believe you do that, Rich. That was unbelievable.
You don't believe I do anything. According to you, I don't do anything.
Does anyone believe that's how he pitches? Hey, I'm working on this job.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you the negative.
From now on.
What?
I'm going to start calling that's my wife's name. So listen, there's a different pitch to get them on the phone. Once you get them on the phone and, you're talking about what their background is and what they really want to do, then, it's almost like a classic takeaway, and it depends on the company too.
And that's where you get the art of listening.
Exactly.
You listen, and then you shape your conversations and your questions towards that. If they want to back out, fine. If they get too excited, then you better tell me why you're too excited. Because did you just get fired and you didn't tell me?
And listen, you're telling someone, listen, you're walking into a company that's got nothing right now. It's not a lie. It is the truth. And you know what? They need to know what they're walking into. Otherwise, you're going to piss off the client when they go there and they fail. And you're going to piss off the candidate because he's like, I didn't know they were this early. So, I mean, you can only dress it up so much. And I just find sales guys that either have the onions to go do a startup or they don't. And the good ones, it doesn't scare off. They appreciate the challenge.
Okay, you know what? But hold on a second. The way he's describing sales, people, I have a bunch of questions I didn't get to about sales. That people say salespeople are all psychopaths. They're greedy.
Yeah.
I would never be a salesman. But Rich is saying that none of that plays. You tell people the worst things about it. And then say, you're not interested. Who cares? You don't have to be pushy or anything like that. That's what Rich is saying now, isn't he?
The reality is most people leave a job quickly because they were lied to. They don't leave a job because they got there and said, oh my God, you told me exactly what this thing was. People are okay with the challenge if they know what the challenge is going into it.
Who'd want to go to the job he just described? Okay.
Well, I didn't give you the rest of the story though. If I tell you got two world-class leaders, you got a board member that sits on also sits on the board of OpenAI and Glean, two smoking hot companies. You got two billionaires on the board. You got the guy that created, one of the top selling softwares in the world. They got 140 million in funding. They're, one of the reps is going to do 500 grand his first 9 months of the year. In the first 9 months at the company this year as the first rep in the door. I don't know. It's a pretty good story. Yeah. Do you have the balls to do it? I'd fucking sign up for it.
And it's not an interview; it's more of a conversation. You want to talk to these guys, and if you can talk to them, and it makes sense to you, and you like them, they like you, because you're going to interview them.
Yeah,
but Ernie,
you got to put it all in context. You got to see what the whole story is, not just here's a piece of it. Because if you take a piece of what anyone says, they sound wonderful. Like, oh my God, this guy never fails.
No, but Rich sounds there like he's not afraid of losing the candidate. You're not interested, fine. I'll talk to somebody else. Is that your attitude?
Yeah.
Really? You're not. See, the nerve when you're on the phone trying to get somebody interested and you're really playing the fish, it's nerve-wracking, okay? Is this going to work?
Who do you really want to go to? Again, these are startup software companies. They are hard selling places, right? There's no systems involved yet. There's no process set up. It's not Oracle. You need strong people that have curiosity and some balls to them. So by taking it away or just laying it out for them, it either gets them fired up or they're like, you're right, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. I tell them flat out, I don't try to talk people into going to startups. Either you want it or you don't. Do you want to be an impact player like you asked last week, or do you want to be a guy that's just another cog in a wheel? So
it's really a person that has risk in their mind, or they're not willing to take risk. They want to be comfortable. They want to be in a company for 20 years. And then you're telling people nobody's in the company for 10, 20 years anymore. But are you willing to give it all up to make more money? Are you willing to give it up?
You're giving it up for freedom, for peace of mind, to work for someone you actually respect, to have a voice in the company, to make it, to work, truly as a team where you can actually impact the organization, or are you just another Salesforce clone who's just going to be there until they, find get their 17th manager next year and, finally get one that doesn't like you. Which is it?
Okay, but
the real the real thing is when people ask, what's the equity? Then you get somebody that wants to, that's been in the game, knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. I got a burning question. Rich said, it sounds like this is what he's saying, okay? I never try to sell anybody or to go in to a job. There's no selling, like he says. I just tell them about it. That's lots of recruiters like to say, we don't sell, we just communicate. Okay, Are you one of those guys, Rich?
100%. It's not like me selling someone on something they don't really want or they don't fit and talking them into it. It doesn't really work.
I don't talk anybody into going out and taking a look at a job. Is that what you're saying?
More or less. I tell them I'm very blunt Wait, hang on, Tommy. I'm very blunt, very honest about the situation. They know what they're walking into. So I build long-term rapport and respect with my candidates and clients.
Okay, Tom.
And I would say it's very similar. Same thing is like if someone's qualified and they're objecting, because they're happy where they're at, right? So I'm going to sell them the job because I know it's a great fit for them.
Yes.
Right. But you have the expertise as the headhunter, 28 years or 17 years or 40, whatever it is, to understand why you're pushing. Right. You just don't do it to do it. You just don't. There's so much of this like, oh, he's got a civil engineer degree. You have to interview. You have to fucking interview.
Yeah.
No.
That sounds different. That sounds so different from what Rich just said. You're not saying the same thing. He's saying, look, if they don't want to go, that's fine with me. I'm not going to talk them into going out there.
But what Rich is also telling you is that there are times when he's talking to them that he's made the decision that they're not the right person for the job.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not really excited about it, and it's like, I'll ask, like, hey, what's, if they're somebody, no, they're not interested. You just don't want to be at a startup. You just don't want to be here. You just don't you want something. He's like, most people do not thrive at startups. They don't, because they mentally are too afraid. They stupidly think they're more secure at a big company, which is highly inaccurate.
And when you're doing this, and Rich makes a great point, when you're talking to someone, they say they're happy where they're at, or they're not interested, and you say why, and they start giving you red flags that can't overcome with an objection. I cannot overcome. Well, I'm divorced, and if I want to see my kids, I can't leave Chicago, right? That's that's what you're doing when you're doing that. When they say they're unhappy or they're happy where they're at, or they're not interested. Why? Like give me some reasons. And if they make sense and they're not something I can overcome objection, then yeah. But if the first thing says, well, I don't know, and that's why I say I didn't call you because I thought you were unhappy. I called you because I have an opportunity that's better than one you have, put more money in your pocket, blah, 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 blah. And then they say something back to me. And if it's, well, my father owns a company, I can't overcome that objection. Or I won't go work for a tiny company, right? I've had horrible experiences. Nothing can convince me. Those are things you have to uncover before you beat somebody up to go on an interview.
But I do like when they say, I won't go work for an Israeli company. I won't go work for this company, those types of companies. I mean, I always give them the hey, listen, did you
they can work for no Jews?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. You get those, but you get the guys like, did you marry the first girl you dated? And they're like, no. I'm like, how is that any different?
Great. I use that one too.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, and you can turn some people around on certain things.
Did you see a movie that everybody said was hate and you hated it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do you know that doesn't apply to this company? Everybody says this company's great, but you might love them.
Yeah. It's funny because I got one search now where I actually like the CRO, even though their whole recruit process is a disaster. And I literally don't even talk to candidates till the second interview. Another recruiter, I'll do a split. Another recruiter will send me the resume. I just send them in. Company gives me no feedback, no nothing. And I tell the candidates this. I'm like, listen, the CRO is a great guy. Their recruiting process is an effing disaster. But it's pretty cool tech, and they're making a name for themselves. They know exactly where they stand. They don't push back. No one ever says no to me. They want to prove that they can ride it out. Hey, good for them. I mean, you kind of let them talk themselves into whatever they want to talk themselves into. You when someone sells you on something and it's like, Tommy, you're the best at this. You need to do this. You got to do it. You're like, I don't really care.
And a lot of times too, I will drag someone kicking and screaming to an interview because I know it's a good opportunity. But if they don't see the light after that interview, there's nothing I can do. There has to be a light has to come on. They have to leave the interview and be like, you know what? Damn, I am glad you talked me into that. That was, as a candidate, I still remember Laurinburg, North Carolina, bought manufacturing. I dragged this guy kicking and screaming, and he accepted the job 3 days later and called me and said, thank you for pushing me.
Those are great. I love when you get those stories like that.
But I've also had candidates to go, yeah, dude, and that's not me. I'm not interested. Thank you very much. Call me if it's something else. But that's what you want to hear. That's who you need a light need to come on. They need to be able to tell you what job is better than the one they have now. Why this is, even though they're a passive candidate, even though you had to drag them kicking and screaming, the light has to come on.
Absolutely. So
yeah, I know that something's wrong, that you guys are not going to say that you're at opposite poles, but I hear you saying two completely different things. Rich is a low-key, I don't really care what
Yes,
you
because
do.
it's all black and white,
you-
Animal. That's all Rich
Yeah.
ever is. Every time I make a fucking phone call, he's low key. Yeah, I know that 100%.
Hold on a second. How did he start out telling us about this pitch? He said, look, you're not going to get anything from this company. You get a phone. Okay. That's it. You want it? Fine. If you don't want it, I don't care. Right.
You know what?
That's different from Tom.
Well, again, it's not because
It depends on what it is.
yeah, it's dependent. Am I cold calling someone? Are we on our second conversation? We're on the first conversation. We already crossed the bridge of, hey, this guy's really interested, but he doesn't really, he's concerned about what they have. He doesn't want to walk into all net new territory. I'm like, it's a Series A company. You can call them the Goldfish if you want an existing client, I guess. But I mean, it's everything else is net new. And the good sales guys, they want to hunt. They want the net new. The bad ones don't. Well, I shouldn't say that's bad ones, but the other ones want more existing because they're easier to go after. So, it is what it is.
Okay, I'll have to come back to that because I know the question I want to ask next week. When you're on the phone with someone trying to persuade them, don't feel too attached to the outcome. Just be ready to
Exactly.
to
That's
let
how you
it go.
Everything. That's how you should do your cold calls. That's how you should do your candidate pitches. Everything.
Then there's no stress, right?
Yeah. It's like, hey, listen, I don't know if this is for you or buddy, but I got this great opportunity doing X, Y, and Z. And I don't know, thought your background looked great. 5 years at NetSuite, this company would be right up your alley.
And all they can
And if
say
you
is, I got 3 kids in high school. I can't move. Then
And you say, hey, even better. This is a life-changing opportunity where you can actually make a ridiculous amount of money. This guy just did a $500,000 in his first 9 months before there was even a product sold.
So
Pretty good story.
now Rich is showing that he does do counter.
Again, Animal, it's not every call. Different parts of the call, different stages, different timing.
It's
No, I like the idea of not having
listening.
stress. Don't worry about if they're not interested. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't. But
Yeah.
Tommy likes to get into a boxing match with.
But
these guys.
sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, it all
Tommy does
depends,
it
man. Like, yeah, I love overcoming the objection. I'm happy where I'm
Sure.
at. If it's not a real objection, I
Yeah.
love that. But you have
If the
to know if
guy's
it's real
buying
or
a house
not.
next week or just had a baby or something, needs health benefits or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, every call when I get, I'm happy where I'm at, it elicits the boxing match. But
Yeah.
I might get knocked out after the first round. But that's okay. You don't, and I
it's
explain
like
people
when-
this every time, right? All the stuff that I tell people to do, overcome objections, right? Whether it's clients with your fees too high or candidates with I'm happy, it doesn't fucking work every single time, right? If you do it and you learn it and you become good at it, it works more than it doesn't, and it's going to
Exactly.
production, right?
It's
Nothing
human
works.
nature.
There are
Nothing's
people that'll never
gonna
fuck
work.
leave.
Well, it's like as you're listening, someone will say, "My wife doesn't want to move," and then my answer will be, "Well, did your wife say she didn't want you to move?"
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
it's breaking up the conversation. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of a rebuttal to an objection, to find out if it's a real objection and to be different from every other person we're called them. I don't care if you're selling SaaS. I don't care if you're recruiting. I don't care what it is. The reason behind overcoming the objection or rebuttal is to see if it's real. Do you never use recruiters? Is my fee really too high? Do you really not have any openings? Are you really happy where you're at? I need to find that out, and I can't do it unless I box with you a little bit.
Okay, but the key here is that if they say no, you don't get depressed, right? Okay,
No,
fine.
because if I did, I'd have shot myself a long fucking time ago.
Yeah, okay. No, I get pretty stressed out. Okay, when it's not going when I want something and it's not going my way. Okay. Anyway, okay, I'll end it there. The show turned out to be great in the end. Okay, man, it's fascinating.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're gonna end it. You're gonna
I
end
just
it on
got to remind you, Dean is coming. Dean wrote a book. Dean DaCosta. He's
When's
coming
he going
on
next week?
the 28th. When's that? That's
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
2
isn't it?
weeks. All right. I got to hop, guys.
Bye.
Later.